Hi students, welcome to English class. During the first class, we saw that the narrator was spending his childhood with his grandparents in a town called Dehra. There, he had a banyan tree and he got a new friend there. Who was his friend? Okay, a white squirrel. So he was living very happily with his friend squirrel, with his grandparents in the town of Dera. So, and also we saw that he made a platform in the banyan tree. He made a platform there and he was living with his friends, enjoying the beauty of nature. Okay, so now we have to come to the second part of the story. I think you have completed the homework which I had given you. Okay, did you send it to your teachers? Okay. Okay, children. So we saw that the narrator was spending his time in the tree and he was spending his time reading books. But it is mentioned sometimes while he didn't feel like reading, what all things he did. So it is mentioned he observed the surrounding. Some of the activities which he saw daily are mentioned here. Which are they? See, grandmother hanging up or taking down the washing, at the cook quarreling with a fruit vendor, or a grandfather grumbling at the hardy Indian marigolds which insisted on springing up all over his very English garden. So 2-3 activities. One is grandmother washing and hanging up the clothes, and next the cook quarreling with the fruit vendor. Who is a vendor? A person who moves from place to place offering something for sale. And the next thing he watched was grandfather walking in the field, in his farm. Okay, then while he was watching all these things, he happened to see a very exciting incident. So that is the next thing mentioned here. So we know that mainly 3 main events are mentioned in this story. First one we have already completed, which was that the boy made friendship with a squirrel. So the second incident is a fight. A fight between, it is mentioned, a mongoose and a cobra. A mongoose and a cobra. And it is mentioned it was a very exciting fight. So it is mentioned I had enough excitement. It was very exciting fight. And also some details about the season are given here. It was afternoon and as it was April, it was very hot summer. He was feeling sleepy and he was planning to go outside for a swim. Then he saw a cobra and a mongoose coming outside, and he watched the cobra and the mongoose very carefully. And in the next part you can see some details of the mongoose and the cobra are given here. Okay, so we will see what was that. See, okay, the boy saw a mongoose and some details of the mongoose are given here. And first of all, it's about length. It was 3 feet long. The length of the mongoose mentioned. 3 feet long. Grey mongoose, a superb fighter, clever, aggressive. Which are the words? 3 feet long, superb fighter, clever and aggressive. So these are the details given about the mongoose. And then some details of the cobra are also given. Which are the details given here? The length of the cobra is mentioned. It was 6 feet. The length of the cobra 6 feet, and also the cobra also was skillful and experienced fighter. The cobra also was skillful and experienced, and it is mentioned the cobra could move swiftly, very fast, and strike with the speed of light. It could move so fast. It is mentioned with the speed of light, and it had poisonous fangs, and the fangs were full of deadly venom. It is mentioned. Venom is poison. And some other details of the cobra are also given. See, it is mentioned it had a spread hood. It was a spectacled hood, it is mentioned. Spectacled hood. What do you mean by spectacled hood? See, if you look at this picture, you can see there is a mark on its hood. Did you see this? A mark on its hood like a spectacle. A V-shaped mark, a spectacled mark on its hood. So this cobra was, what was the length of the cobra? 6 feet long, and it had spectacled hood, it is mentioned. See, this cobra had sharp fangs. These are the fangs, the sharp fangs which are full of deadly venom, poison, sharp fangs. And also it is mentioned that forked tongue. Forked tongue. See, if you look at the tongue, you can see that it is forked tongue. So these are some of the expressions used in the text. Sharp fangs. This one, forked tongue, spectacled hood, and the length of the cobra is mentioned. What was the length? 6 feet. So it is very clear that as it is mentioned, it will be an exciting fight between the cobra and the mongoose. See, if you look at the text, you can see all the words we have described, we have mentioned earlier. See, grey mongoose, 3 feet long, super fighter, clever, aggressive. About the cobra, skillful, experienced fighter, could move swiftly and strike with the speed of light. The sacs behind his long, sharp fangs were full of deadly venom. So what did the narrator feel? He was sure it was to be a battle of champions. Why did he feel that it was to be a battle of champions? Because both the fighters, both the combatants, and in the next paragraph you see the word combatant, fighters, the opponents, they were of equal strength. So it was very clear that it would be a very exciting fight. So this is the incident mentioned, the second incident mentioned here, the fight between the cobra and the mongoose. And while the fight was going on, there were two spectators. One was a myna, other one was a jungle crow. This is one of the spectators. Who is that? You know, it's a jungle, and the second spectator, myna. So two spectators were there, a jungle crow and a myna. But we know that there was a third spectator. Can you say who was the third spectator? Okay, very good. The narrator, the boy. Where was he? Sitting, sitting. Where was he sitting? In the platform which he had made on the banyan tree. Okay, so the fight was going to take place. Spectators were there, and both the combatants, both the opponents. Who were the opponents? The snake and the mongoose also were ready for the fight. And the next paragraph, the details of the fight is given here. See, the fight is going to take place between the cobra and the mongoose. They saw face to face, and see, the snake is going to attack the mongoose with its spectacled hood, as we have seen. It spread its hood and it was going to attack the mongoose. But see, the mongoose was not at all frightened. It was looking at a point just below the hood of the snake. Then see, the snake is attacking, but the mongoose was very careful, and it was very careful not to be attacked, struck by the cobra. So what happened? While the cobra was hissing and attacking the mongoose, it moved back. It moved back. See the fight. A severe fight is is taking place between the cobra and the mongoose. No doubt, the cobra is attacking, trying to attack the mongoose, but see, the cobra couldn't. And what did the mongoose do? See, it is attacking the cobra, and see, it bit on the head of the cobra. See, the cobra is quite helpless, and you can see that the mongoose is almost killing the snake and dragging it to the bushes. See, even though it was such a superb fighter, so even though the cobra was such a superb fighter, it couldn't defeat the mongoose. The mongoose killed the snake. And in between, something else also happened. We know that three spectators were there, the myna, the jungle crow, and the boy. And what happened to the myna and the jungle crow? They were very anxious to see the fight, and every time the cobra was attacking the mongoose, it flew to the spot, and it happened that while the third round of fight was going on between the cobra and the mongoose, the myna and the crow flew near to it, and what happened? See, the crow was killed by the cobra. See, in the second that it took him to do this, the cobra whipped his head back and struck with great force, his snout thudding against the crow's body. That means it was attacked by the cobra, and it fell dead, it is mentioned. I saw the bird flung nearly 20 feet across the garden, where after fluttering about for a while, it lay still. The bird had died. So that happened accidentally. However, even though the bird was killed, the boy was observing all these things, and he was very excited to see such a wonderful fight. So the mongoose won the fight, we can see. The mongoose was fearless, it is mentioned. So, uh, that's the second incident mentioned. What is the second incident? The fight between the mongoose and the snake. And in this fight, who won? The mongoose won. The snake was defeated. The cobra was defeated. The cobra was killed by the mongoose. So now we have completed two main events of the story. First one, the friendship between the gray squirrel and the boy. The second incident, the fight between the mongoose and the cobra. And one more incident is mentioned here. That is a strange affair. A strange affair between a grey squirrel and a white rat. It is mentioned. The banyan tree was also the setting for what we were to call the strange case of the grey squirrel and the white rat. So, grandfather had bought a white rat from the market, and the boy made friendship with the white rat also, and whenever he came to the banyan tree, he took the white rat also with him. And no doubt, as the squirrel was his friend, this rat also made friendship with the squirrel. Then it happened that one day the boy noticed the squirrel started building a nest, and he didn't find anything strange about it. Then it happened that once grandmother's knitting was missing. The needle which she used to make woolen clothes, it was missing. They looked everywhere, and in this text, the term used is, we hunted for it everywhere, but without success. We hunted for it. See, here, that simply means they looked for the knitting, that needle everywhere. And one day, the boy, while he was sitting in the banyan tree, he happened to see the knitting needle. See, it is mentioned, I going up to investigate, I saw that it was the end of grandmother's steel knitting needle. On looking further, I discovered that the hole was crammed with the knitting. So, we know that the boy saw the squirrel started building a nest, and in order to build the nest, actually the squirrel had taken grandmother's knitting needle. Then what happened? The boy went nearer and looked. Actually, he went there to get the knitting needle. And what did he see? See, I discovered that the hall was crammed with knitting, and amongst the wool were three baby squirrels. He saw three baby squirrels, but the specialty was that they were white squirrels. Understood? The mother squirrel was grey in color, but these squirrels, baby squirrels, were white in color. So it was something funny for the narrator. So he told the grandfather about it. Okay, so he wanted to know what happened and how did it happen. So he told his grandfather about it. So actually, grandfather also was wonderstruck. He was also he hadn't also seen these white squirrels earlier. And then afterwards, they understood that grandfather understood what happened. So what was that? See, grandfather told me that the rat must be the father. Rats and squirrels were related to each other, he said, and so it was quite possible for them to have offspring. In this case, white squirrels. So these white baby squirrels were why there were white baby squirrels? Because there was this grey squirrel and white rat. So this is the third interesting incident the narrator mentions here. So children, as we have seen in this unit, in this lesson, there are mainly three events. The first one, the boy befriended a gray squirrel. The second incident, the fight, the exciting fight between the mongoose and the cobra. And the third one, the narrator happened to see three white baby squirrels. So now, children, make sure that you read the text many times because we haven't gone through each and every line. We have just mentioned some of the main points there. What you have to do is read the text many times. Okay, and you have to complete one more assignment today. Okay, so children, this is that assignment you have to do today. What is that? The boy was thrilled at seeing the fight between the cobra and the mongoose. You may also have the same feeling. Narrate the fight scene in your own words. So we have seen the details of the fight between the cobra and the mongoose. No doubt, I think you also are very much excited. So now what you have to do is you have to narrate everything that happened there. Okay, so you can begin like this. The boy was sitting on the platform halfway up the tree. Then what happened? What did he see? Who were the spectators? How was the fight? What are the details of the cobra and the mongoose given there? And what happened at there? Who won the fight? And all these things you have to write. Then after completing this narration, after completing this assignment, you have to send it to your class teachers. Sorry, your English teacher. Okay, will you do it? Okay, hope that all of you will do it and see you next day. Thank you.